Okay, so I'm here today to do it's going to be kind of two videos that I combine into one because it didn't really make sense to have two separate videos for this. So this is my video on ionized water, basically, and this is going to be part one of the ionized water. I'm going to do more in-depth one later on when I get more research and information. But for right now, basically what this is this going to be my reply to specific comments, of which there is such a long answer response that I have to go through and make a video for it because there's just so much information that I have to try and put into this video. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to read this comment and then I'm going to move on and going to start getting into the explanation as to why some of the stuff's wrong and some of the points that he brings up and about ionized water and some of the other stuff. And this video isn't intended to, I'm not trying to attack this guy specifically. This is just his comment set a really good basis for me to start doing research on the claims that people are making into this sort of product. So without further ado, here we go, I guess. So his comment I'm going to read exactly from it. This is from KangenAlec. I'll have a picture posted of the entire comment because I'm only reading the second comment and addressing it. I'm not reading the first comment because it's mostly the same argument. But you have 40 trillion cells in the body. Each cell is 80% water, lives in an alkaline environment, and requires a constant supply of electrons that it gets from antioxidant food and water we intake. Electrons are negatively charged elements that supply the cells with energy to keep up proper voltage at negative 25 millivolts. This is how the body works. So you need to drink at least a gallon of water a day with antioxidant-rich properties. This is what ionized water is. That has a natural 8.5 pH that it gets from active hydrogen. The best water ionizer is the Ionized SD501 model from Japan. They even use it in hospitals over here to treat sick people. Every time people lacking water for a long time or drinking acidic oxidizing waters, they kill cellular voltage and cells begin to mutate and die. This chain reaction is called cancer. Get this device directly from the company, starts helping people and improve their health, teach them how to help others. So that's the comments, and so now I'm going to be breaking it down part by part and just kind of showing you guys my findings on what he said. So let's get right into it. So just as a side note as well, I'm going to also be leaving up like little images with the particular quotation that I'm doing right now and the points that I have against the quotation. So just to kind of give you guys perspective on what I'm talking about. So we'll start with the first part, which is you have 40 trillion cells in the body. Each cell is 80% water, lives in an alkaline environment, requires a constant supply of electrons. Cells don't require a constant supply of electrons. I'm not sure this is going to be a constant recurring thing, but throughout, I think he's talking about, I believe at least he's talking about neurons and how they require sodium, how they use sodium and potassium channels to create reflex arcs and because he talks later on about internal cell voltage. And this is actually what this basically is that as neurons get set incoming sensors, so for example if something's too hot, something like that, what they'll do is they will allow, I can't remember if it's the potassium or the sodium, to exit and the other to flow into the cell, creating a electrical charge, and it's called a sodium potassium gate, and it sends it as like a signal along a wire from the sensory neuron to the interneuron in your spinal cord to the motor neuron, which is attached to what's commonly called an effector or your muscle. So essentially that's what causes your hand to move back when something gets too hot on a fireplace or whatever you're doing at that particular time. So yeah, I believe that's at least what he's trying to get at. I'm not 100% sure. I don't really know what the basis behind this is, but there you go. Moving on, that it gets from antioxidant food and water we intake, which I'll touch on later. Electrons are negatively charged elements. They aren't elements. Electrons are part of an atom. And I believe instead of elements he meant ions, which still isn't necessarily true, but barring that anyways, that supply the cells with energy to keep up proper voltage. Cells' energy doesn't actually come from any sort of voltage or anything like that. What it comes from is a process called cellular respiration. And so I'll make a link to that down below, just an article on it, so you guys can read up on cellular respiration and how that works. But it definitely doesn't get energy from elements for sure, and not electrons. So I don't really know where that has any basis. And keep up proper voltage at negative 25 millivolts is how your body works. This is somewhat a basis for how the reflex arc in your nervous system works, again, but it has more to do with the internal resistance of your skin and your different neurons and such. So for example, if your skin is dry versus moist, it'll have a different resistance rating, basically based on very different environmental factors. It's not just set at negative 25 millivolts. It's not a set number. It's adaptively changing based on each person. So you need to, this is how your body works. So you need to drink at least a gallon of water a day with alkaline oxidant properties. So you need to drink at least a gallon of water a day. There's arguable because of the fact there's been no studies to support this claim. Dehydration is an issue that's kind of prevalent, but there's been no studies that you have to drink at least a gallon of water a day, and it's never been a substantiated claim. It was just posted in a journal that you should be approximately drinking about 3.7, or if you're male, and then 2.2 if you're female. Those numbers might not be exactly correct. Don't quote me on them. I'm not 100% sure. But it's around those sorts of numbers that you should potentially be drinking, but that was just an approximation. There was no basis behind that. That's just a general number. It's based on your body weight, and again, it's different per person and per what you do in life. So if you're more active, you need more, etc., etc. With alkaline antioxidant properties, so actually there's been a study out of Cornell University that has shown that antioxidants have been proven to have no effect against any neurodegenerative diseases. They state, and it might be sorry, a note here, and they state that it might have more to do with the mitochondria operation within the cell in certain pH conditions. Again, this is way over my head, so I'm gonna link I'm gonna put a link in the description to where you can find that Cornell research study to read up on it yourself. Again, it's way over my head, so there you go. This is what ionized water is, and I have no idea how he came to this conclusion, considering the fact that there's another link down below that I'll link in the description. It's never been proven that ionized water has any antioxidant properties. It's been used as an antacid before for different sorts of digestive disorders, but it's never been proven to have antioxidant properties. So yeah, anyways, it has a natural 8.5 pH. So this is somewhat true. So it's 6.5 to 8.5 is considered normal pH for surface water, but like pure water is a pH of 7 at 25 degrees Celsius, and in our actual atmosphere, surface water ends up often being exposed to carbon dioxide, and equilibrium results in a pH of approximately 5.2. This is directly from one of the links that I have in the description. The pH of the water, it's not necessarily a strength. It doesn't necessarily tell you the exact strength of the acidity or basic properties of solution, and it doesn't provide a full picture, basically, due to different things that are included into the water, because you're not always going to be drinking pure water, right? So yeah, again, there's plenty of different references in the description. You guys can read up more on this, which is what I'm kind of hoping to spur people on to do. But this is one of the points, again, that I'm not particularly qualified to talk on, but pure 7.0 pH should try to be attained because free hydrogen ions can cause dehydration effects. I don't know much about this. I'm in high school right now, so I don't know. I'm not really qualified for this, but the reference for that was the pH paranoia, which is in the description. Anyways, moving on through the comment again. It has a natural 8.5 pH that it gets from active hydrogen. I don't know what active hydrogen really means. There's no such thing as inert hydrogen, except for in some cases it's been technically made for hydrogen's been attempted to be made inert for different properties to be pumped through in certain systems because it's more efficient, but I don't know what he means by active hydrogen here, so I can't really speak on this. But anyways, the best water ionizer is the one that he linked, that he talked about from Japan. Again, it's a sales pitch, and it's a subjective one because there's no grounds for why it's the best or anything like that. And also it's a $4,000 machine, so I don't know, it seems just more like a sales pitch to me. But they even use it over there to treat sick people. Now, this part is true. This is 100% true. They do use it to treat sick people, not cancer patients. What they do is they use it for digestive sicknesses like chronic diarrhea and different constipations, abnormal fermentation in intestines, indigestion, acid indigestion, and a couple other ones. That's what they use it for. They use it as an antacid, not as a cancer curing thing, which is what the entire video that he posted this comment on was talking about. But yeah, it's being used to treat sick people, digestion sickness, not cancer. So I want to get that straight. That is true, but it's not in the same way. Every time people lacking water for a long time are drinking acidic oxidizing waters, I don't know if that's an oxymoron. I'm not great with chemistry, but anyways, they kill cellular voltage and the cell begins to die and mutate. If a cell begins to die, it doesn't begin to mutate, especially not in the cases of cancer, and also the fact that cells don't have voltage. Cells have internal resistance, and specifically this is neuron cells. This has nothing to do with your blood, which is what he was talking about earlier. Blood has a slight capacitance, but this is again due to the whole potassium and sodium gate system that they have. This is semi-permeable membrane that allows sodium and potassium ions to flow between the two of them when need be to have electrical voltage. But in this case, every time cells don't have voltage, instead they have a resistance, and the creation of voltage is caused by the sodium-potassium gate, like I said, and also the idea that it begins to die and mutate, and this chain reaction is called cancer. Mutation of cells to avoid cell death is cancer. It's called apoptosis, which is the programmed cell death in your system. So, for example, your heart muscles, your heart cells have programmed cell death, and they don't actually mutate at all. There's no form of mitosis for heart cells. The amount that you have that you're born with is what you have. So when they die permanently, they're done. There's no more regenerating heart cells. But yeah, so he's saying that the mutation of the cell's death cause mutation, which isn't true at all, because cell death inherently means that the cell dies, so it can't be mutated after it's already died. But the mutation of cell to avoid cell death, again called apoptosis, which I have a definition linked to in the description, is what actually causes cancer, not the cell death. The cell death is completely different. So that's, again, when I was talking about the Hayflick limits in cells and the mitigation of the Hayflick limit in cells to cause in the previous video about it. That is what cancer is. It can mutate it can go through mitosis consistently because it has no limit to how many times it can replicate itself. This is the big issue with cancer, and it's why it's such a big issue. And to get this directly from the company, start helping people and teach them how to help others. Again, this is just a 2.0 version of the sales pitch. There you go. There's the overview of what was wrong with this comment, but specifically, again, this is also to do with this idea of doing your own research and looking into it directly instead of just buying one of these machines because somebody on the internet said that it was a good idea. This is why the idea of these videos isn't to hang this guy out to dry about his comment and all this sort of stuff, but this is the conceptions of ionized waters. It's great, it can stop cancer and all that sort of stuff, and maybe he doesn't know that it hasn't been proven to, or maybe he does, I don't know. I couldn't tell you, I don't know the guy himself, so I have no idea, but this comment has issues with it, and it's also general issues with the idea of ionized water, so I figured I'd do my own video on it. There will be a second video specifically for ionized water that I'll talk a lot on the same points, but specifically in this video, it's just addressing this particular comment. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to have all of this text all printed copied into the description, including a little general section that has a quotation from one of the references as well, and it just basically talks about how alkaline water only neutralizes the acidity where it has direct contact, so stomach acid and the upper bowl of your stomach, and that it can actually have side effects such as causing hypertension, nervousness or anxiety, urinary tract and bladder infections, stabbing side pains, erratic heart behavior, a couple other things, and that they've been stopped by people stop drinking it. I don't know if this is true or not. This is, again, I'm putting my credibility in the hands of the references, so you guys can read up on that yourself and come to your own conclusions. But yeah, if you guys have anything to talk about, let me know in the comments down below. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know, and yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one, and be sure to comment if you have anything to say. Alright, thank you, goodbye.